Today.
Here are your top stories brought to you by Fidelity Wealth Management.
The motion is agreed to.
The U.S. Senate moves the infrastructure bill closer to passage.
It's a big burden to bear to hear someone's last words.
How the latest surge in the pandemic is taking a toll on doctors and nurses.
This is Reuters Now.
The yeas are 67, the nays are 27. 3/5 of the senators duly chosen and sworn having voted in the affirmative, the motion is agreed to.
In another rare weekend session, the U.S. Senate on Saturday voted to advance a $1 trillion infrastructure package, a procedural yet important step forward after months of negotiations between President Joe Biden and a bipartisan group of senators. The vote came after an impassioned plea from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
We can get this done the easy way or the hard way. It's in either case, the Senate will stay in session until we finish our work. It's up to my Republican colleagues how long it takes.
Senators agreed to limit debate on the legislation, which represents the biggest investment in decades in America's physical infrastructure, including roads, bridges, airports, and waterways. The chamber's top Republican, Mitch McConnell, also signaled support for the bill.
I hope senators can work together in a bipartisan way to get more amendments up and continue improving this important bill. Our colleagues on both sides deserve to be heard.
The timing for passage remains unclear, as lawmakers prepare for possible votes on amendments and are working behind closed doors to reach an agreement that would allow the Senate to complete its work on the legislation quickly. Passage would be a major victory for Schumer, Biden, and a bipartisan group of senators who spent months crafting the package and would send the bill on to the House of Representatives. In a tweet Saturday, Biden wrote, quote, "The bipartisan infrastructure deal is a historic, once-in-a-generation investment in our nation's infrastructure. We can't afford not to do it."
Support for Reuters comes from Fidelity Wealth Management. See how a Fidelity representative can help with tax-smart guidance throughout the year. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.
So to watch someone suffer for weeks, unable to eat, unable to drink, struggling for every breath, it changes you.
On the verge of tears, Nicole Atherton has reached her breaking point.
Watching someone die, more than that, coding someone, doing chest compressions on someone, breaking their ribs when you know there's no hope for them. You know if you get them back that all you're doing is delaying the inevitable. It feels like torturing people. And I don't want to do that. I don't.
The intensive care nurse watched helplessly last year as COVID-19 sufferers died in her Mississippi hospital slowly, painfully, and alone. Then in July, she was once again confronted with a wave of deathly ill patients. It's the deaths that stick with Atherton long after her shift ends.
I see these people over and over again when I try and sleep, suffering, and I hear, their last words. It's a big burden to bear to hear someone's last words.
New daily coronavirus cases in the United States have hit a 6-month high, with the 7-day average reaching nearly 95,000. That rate is 5 times higher than it was less than a month ago, according to Reuters data. Nurses and doctors on the front lines of America's hospitals are once again getting worn down as the Delta variant spreads rapidly where vaccination rates are the lowest. Doctors, nurses, and hospital leaders interviewed by Reuters in 6 states described a workforce that is depleted and demoralized by wards overflowing with mostly unvaccinated patients. Some, like Atherton, are turning to social media and finding other ways to speak out.
It's frustrating to hear people, call us heroes and thank us when that's great and we appreciate that. But what we need is for people to wear masks and get vaccines. That's how we want to be thanked for fighting through this, is for people to protect themselves and protect us from it.
Those were your top stories for today.